I'm not here to bag on Madam Web. I'm actually here to tell you that there's some good stuff about it, albeit very little, but some good stuff. So I'm going to show you the optimistic side, the positive side, the bright side of Madam Web. Madam Web starts off with a scene where Madam Web's mom is basically killed by the antagonist, right? And I'm a sucker for a little emotional storyline with a parent and a child, and that's kind of what we see when we first dive into the movie. It's like, oh no, mom dies. Very, very sad. Very sad. We figure out in the end her mom was actually doing what she was doing in the Amazon or whatever for a darn good reason, and it was to save her daughter from some type of incurable genetic disorder. And I think that's a sweet part of the story. I'm all about that lovey-dovey parent trope because I'm a parent myself. Because most good parents care about their child. Madam Web's mom is an example of what a good parent should be if you didn't have that in your life. Now we get to the good stuff. One of the best things about this movie is the fact that they actually got Adam Scott. All right, I freaking love Adam Scott. I don't know if you've seen him in other stuff, but Parks and Rec, that one movie under the one show on Apple TV called Severance. Adam Scott is a plus for any type of casting, even if it's a bad one. He is good. I mean, just look at Parks and Rec.
I mean, look at what I've accomplished. Do you see him? Do you think a depressed person could make this?
It was just good to see a familiar face, even though I have seen Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney and the two other actresses. Back to the parent thing, he seemed like a super good dad. Spoilers, let me just tell you about the movie. Emma Roberts, surprise, is in the movie as his wife, who is pregnant. She just decides to, okay, she didn't decide, but like she just gives birth in the movie. Adam Scott himself just ends up being really super urgent. Takes some dad initiative, does a hero thing, just overall great dad. Another example of a good parent. This is just a parenting movie. Number one, you should die for your child. Number two, you should be there for your child in the very beginning. Speaking of familiar faces, the actress for Dora the Explorer was in there. I think her name is Isabel Merced. She played Dora in the 2019 movie, which was actually a very well-made and really good movie. I enjoyed it. She actually nailed the teenager sassy attitude. I felt teenager vibe. Like I hated her in the movie. And that's how you know she played a great teenager. There's a scene where they actually show Madam Web's cat. Her character actually seems, Dakota Johnson's character seems like a great pet owner. Now that I'm going to spoil the end of the movie, Dakota Johnson's character can just see the future, right? But doesn't that just make her like 3 times better as a cat owner? Think of the possibilities, okay? She can now predict when to scoop litter out of the litter box, trim their nails, when she'll run out of food if you don't have one of those automatic feeders, like, oh no, gotta feed her. Okay, back to the parenting thing. I feel like Dakota Johnson's character, she has a very caring nature, shown in a couple ways in this movie. It kind of develops as you go throughout the movie. There's 2 examples. One example is when she leaves the 3 teenagers. She hops on a flight. She goes to the Amazon and has some ayahuasca ceremony in the middle of the Amazon and actually comes back for them. That shows real initiative as a parent to come back. You should always go back. The second example is she shows them how to do CPR. She shows the 3 teenagers how to basically revive someone for no good reason. Like there was no development in it. Obviously that lesson has to tie something into the near end of the movie, and it does. But they taught a great lesson. They now know how to use CPR, and they use it to save Madam Web's life. And then because of that, she then becomes this vague adoptive mother for them. This is just a parenting movie. It's just a great parenting movie. This teaches you all the things you need to be a good parent. Number 1, die for your child. Number 2, teach them CPR. Number 3, fake drown and have your child kind of do CPR on you. They can now have the confidence to say that they saved your life and then become a better parent for them. Those are the 4 great, amazing lessons I learned in Madam Web. I forgot to mention that the teenagers in this movie, Sydney Sweeney's character, Isabel Merced's character, Dora the Explorer, and then I'm not familiar with the other actress in it. But their characters have, their parents are just non-existent. They're just leaving these 3 girls around to fend for themselves with a random lady who now becomes their adoptive mother. So surprise parenthood is the best thing for these girls. Okay, my last positive thing. I like how respectful this movie is to Dakota's character, Madam Web. They're very formal with her name, and instead of just calling her Miss Webb, it's Madam Web. Shows the respect these people have for this character, for sure.